check. 1, 2, check.
Crypto DLT with MrConectr. Be sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell for daily content. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? It's MrConectr back for a Friday stream. Let's listen to some modern investor.
Wisdom Tree, a company that manages $100 billion US.
Wisdom Tree
has recently compared XRP to Bitcoin in their latest report. They examined how much XRP needs to grow in order to outpace Bitcoin. And they even argued in their report that XRP is the only altcoin that stands out as a suitable cryptocurrency for a long-term portfolio strategy along with Bitcoin. They said institutional investors are no longer satisfied with having Bitcoin alone in their portfolios. The company said that XRP is the only altcoin that will complement the Bitcoin strategy. Okay, slow it down. Who is that for? It's not for us. Those are for companies. If you are a company who has $100 billion in assets, who are you talking to? You're not talking to us. You're talking to governments. You're talking to corporations. You're talking to entities who are looking to get within the cryptocurrency space. Think of why a company, anyone, would take their time to create a report that specifically says the only other altcoin, the only other coin that stands a chance against Bitcoin is XRP.
What's up, everybody? It's MrConectr. Hope you guys are doing great today. It's Friday. It is May the 30th, and it's 1:11 on the East Coast. Hope you guys are doing great today. 111. Look at those angel numbers. I love it. Hope everybody's doing good. We have got, who's up in the stream already? Silver Days, Turple, and Bullish Bird are the top three on the podium today. Bradley B just missed the podium today. That reminds me, I need to watch the F1 practice replay later on. They're in Barcelona this weekend. But we're on crypto. Guys, what's going on in the world of crypto and distributed ledger land? All kinds of news coming in. All kinds of good news. Hold on, I've got a... There we go, I fixed it. One of my synths was being triggered somehow. Who knows? Yeah, all kinds of news coming in today. Hope you guys are doing great. We got the crowd out at Las Vegas. XRP Las Vegas. If you guys are out there, be careful out there. Stay together in groups. Don't forget, you got people out there that are looking for people at these crypto conferences. Be careful, guys. Okay, let's get to the Conectr coins, then we'll get to the news in just a minute. What's going on the Conectr coin list? Evernode's up 22% almost. Don't forget about Evernote running on that Zahao blockchain. Love to see that. Love to see ZBCN up again today. Look at that, 442% on the 30-day. VELO's up 2%. Stronghold's flat. DAG Constellation down a little bit. Everything's in the red past that, guys. XRP's at $2.17. What a steal. Not financial advice, for entertainment purposes only, guys. Let's get to the show. What else do we have today on the news? I feel like getting straight to some of this news. We saw X is having their payments. I had a video on that yesterday. Elon's coming out with X payments this year. And we've seen from Strides a lot. X Money will hold accounts at Cross River Bank. This is huge. Why? Because Cross River Bank was one of the first banks that signed with Ripple. There's a connection there, guys. You think they'll actually use the XRP ledger for these X payments? I don't know. Maybe they'll even use a sidechain. You know, we've got the sidechain amendment up for vote. So maybe that's what they're waiting on. Maybe X has their own duplicate XRP ledger sidechain. Maybe they've got their own native coin, the X coin, or just X. Maybe it uses XRP as a native coin. Maybe it uses this sidechain ledger. Do they have tokens as well? Do they have a DEX as well on the sidechain? I don't know, guys. I'm just thinking outside the box here. Maybe it's Stellar. Maybe they use Stellar. But right here it says Ripple was the bank that X Payments is using. Love to see that. In my opinion, this confirms that Elon Musk and Ripple are working together behind the scenes to build the next super app. And we saw where Metallicus, or the XPR network, had a vote to give Elon 10 billion XPR tokens. Will he use those? Who knows, guys? Turple says a Stellar is a symbolism's in our faces. Yeah, it is. It's everywhere with Stellar. Stellar's kind of one of those laid back projects, building and building for years, and they've got great tech over there. We know that. But who's got the connections? Looks like Ripple's got the connection, guys. Cross River Bank was Ripple's first signed bank to use the Ripple protocol. Cross River. The world's moving at the speed of change. Our client's vision shaped the way to drive it forward. So that's the custodial for the underlying collateral, I guess, guys, for X.com at Cross River. Interesting. Cool. What else do we have right quick? The Ripple just go full Riddler. This from Andrew. A new header on Ripple's X account showing a Euro receipt. A clock. And the Wall Street Bull statue. Wow. Also, Ripple following 985, while Brad Garlinghouse is following 589. That's pretty crazy. Guys, I can't help but think back to Schwartz being at the NSA, and you know that's some of these positions, they're all involved in riddles. To get the position, you probably got to figure out a riddle. That tests intelligence, you know? Hope you guys are doing good in the channel. Turple was it Turple Gardening? Yeah. Good on you, Turple. Get out there and start your own garden, guys. It's not hard. I'll tell you what's easiest to grow. You can, if you've got a bed, throw out some carrot seeds or radishes. Those things, you don't even have to take care of them. They just pop up. Plant it thick. That's food. Quick food right there. Just in case we're in a place where we got to plant our seeds to survive. Who knows, guys? I don't want to be I don't want to live in a world where it's like that, though, you know. But we got to prepare. All right, cool. What else do we have? Strides a lot also says, basically confirms that Trump had a hand in the deal with Ripple. So this is the Saudi Arabia company. NASDAQ launches Vivo Power. Has raised $121 million to launch an XRP-focused treasury strategy led by Saudi Prince. coming out of CoinDesk. 121 million to launch a XRP focused treasury strategy. So what's this treasury strategy these companies are doing now with XRP? What is a treasury strategy? Before we get too far in the news, let's go look at that. I've got that. Right here somewhere. Oh yeah, we saw the fake news for the White Rock oil tokenization. Saudi Aramco denies involvement in the XRP Ledger oil tokenization amid circulating forged document. Yeah, I looked at that document when it came out, yesterday, day before? And it's just too much color on it, you know? Only documents with like title documents or things like that have that much color in it. I've never seen a document come out that had 4 different color fonts in it. But yeah, who knows, guys, why, somebody might have been trying to make a long and then a short once they realize that that stuff's fake. We need AI out here determining the validity in real time of these articles, guys. We'll get that straightened out. So the treasury, what are these companies doing with the treasuries? Using XRP as their treasury. So Bank XRP has a really good take on it right here. On the treasury thesis. The XRP treasury thesis is gaining traction. Companies like VELO Power and, Wellgistics. They're leveraging XRP for payments and reserves with the Dubai tokenizing real estate on the XRP ledger. Digital assets are reshaping finance. Turple says that these Bitcoin maxis really not see all these happenings. Really, Ripple is out to conquer like a golden knight. Yeah, who knows, guys? I was saying the other day that, a lot of them are leveraged. They have to have Bitcoin going up and up and up. So they're not even interested in looking outside of Bitcoin, some of them. They're leveraged against it. The rise of XRP treasury thesis. This is out of Bayberry Capital yesterday, or day before yesterday. So the shift is happening, a new phase of adoption. Digital assets are no longer just speculative vehicles. They're becoming functional components of a corporate finance, integrated into balance sheets, used for payments, and considered strategic reserves. There we go. Just this past month, VELO Power announced it will become a digital asset treasury company with XRP at its core. Wow. And Wellgistics, that's that Tampa-based healthcare distribution, actually pharmaceutical distribution company. They announced, I think 2 weeks ago, that it confirmed it's using XRP for payments and treasury, showing real-world adoption in a regulated high-stakes industry. But they're also using it. We covered this. I did a little video on this Wellgistics. Because they're using XRP, they're using it. They said they're using it to cut out middlemen, to cut out fees. And that was 2 days before Trump signed the healthcare executive order to cut out middlemen. So Conectr put this Wellgistics in his Roth IRA. And had a good little pump off of that in the stock market. So we'll see if I hold on to that. How much long-term that's going to be good for. All right, cool. But these aren't blockchain startups. These are traditional companies, guys. Now positioning XRP as infrastructure. They're going to use this stuff. And we know that's what we're waiting on, a utility run. Bayberry Capital built this thesis on XRP as a treasury. Their conviction has never wavered. XRP is not merely a speculative token. It's a digital asset purpose-built for financial infrastructure. Long before public companies began allocating it to their balance sheets, we recognized XRP's potential to function as a modern reserve asset designed for speed, scalability, and efficient capital movement. Their approach has always been grounded in fundamentals, not short-term narratives. While the broader market is now beginning to explore XRP as treasury and payments asset, we've already spent years building around this vision, steadily accumulating, refining our thesis, and positioning Bayberry Capital to operate more like a digital asset holding company rather than a traditional trading desk. We didn't wait for headlines to validate the strategy, what it means to be an XRP treasury company. So what are these companies doing with it? It isn't a marketing slogan. It's a financial philosophy for these companies. To operate as an XRP treasury company means accumulating XRP based on fundamental utility, just like us. Not the hype, just like us, guys. All right, Bradley's in that Zabek. Good on you, Bradley. Yeah, that thing's doing good. Treating XRP as a strategic capital, not just a price play. So not only governments can have strategic assets, guys, companies are going to have their strategic treasury assets. And why would they hold something on hype? They need something with fundamental utility. They want to stay liquid. They want to be interoperable and prepare to move capital instantly across borders or platforms, remaining disciplined in accumulation and allocation, regardless of cycles. Bayberry isn't just around the trends, they're building around the truth. Solana, Ethereum, and the broader adoption curve, XRP is leading the charge, but it's not alone. Other digital assets are entering corporate treasury strategies. So what's these other assets? Looks like Solana's being used by Janover Inc. Looks like BlackRock's launching its first tokenized fund on Ethereum. DeFi Technologies added Solana and diversified its reserves across multiple proof-of-stake networks. And we also saw where proof-of-stake networks have been declared not a security. This is a big deal for ETF holders who want to offer their staking. This guidance clarifies that staking is the format that is generally not thought of as a securities transaction by the Division of Corporate Finance. So staking is not a security. Lost my place. Oh, here we go. So it's clear the market is moving from theory to execution. We're living right through this, guys. I know it feels like a slow flip of the switch, but you can see right here how companies are getting involved in this stuff. And the video on, what was it, Hyperscale? Yesterday that I did, you can see how these companies are using subsidiaries to get involved. Hyperscale is a data center network. They've got data centers all over, but they have a company, a subsidiary called Alt. What was it called? Alt Capital, I think. So the subsidiary is the one that's going to be buying. Is it $10 million for their treasury? $10 million worth of XRP for their treasury, and then Hyperscale. Yeah, Hyperscale will be divesting from Alt Capital. So you can see right there how they're going to be getting in, and I guess they already have their stock shares agreement already figured out. Who's going to be involved which owners are going to be involved in crypto and which ones are going to stay with the data centers. Maybe to be the same owners, just having different companies. Interesting that they're divesting. They're investing and divesting, making plans to divest from that company as soon as it happens. Or at the end of this year, I think they said. So why is XRP uniquely positioned? Most assets are adapting to real-world needs. XRP was built for real-world needs. Designed for liquidity, engineered for speed, proven in enterprise environments, and now legally clarified in key jurisdictions. There's no pivot necessary. It's just execution. This is in every way a native asset for capital movement and increasingly for capital preservation. That's what they're interested in right there. Capital preservation for their shareholders. They want to maintain XRP as a core reserve asset, accumulated and held with discipline. Wow. They're looking at long-term value, positioning the company as a digitally native treasury entity, capable of operating at the intersection of capital markets and blockchain infrastructure, continuing building internal frameworks to integrate future opportunities in yield generation, tokenized assets, and digital settlement mechanisms. So there you go, guys. I just wanted to show you how they're using this stuff now on their internal treasuries. Thinking about the long-term capital formation. I've got here also the breakdown of the new, it's the House of Representatives Digital Asset Market Clarity Act from the House Committee on Agriculture, establishing hold on. Functional requirements for digital asset market participants, prioritizing consumer protection while fostering innovation by providing clear, strong safeguards and long overdue regulatory certainty. The legislation advances the American innovation and reinforces America's leadership in the global financial system. Hey, what's up, Silver Days? Good to see you, buddy. Looking at this new Clarity Act that's going through the House. Digital assets and related blockchain tech have the potential to form the foundation of the next generation of the internet innovation. Of course, they address the regulation by enforcement that's been going on. The Clarity Act addresses these challenges by establishing a clear framework for digital asset markets and closing the regulatory gaps. For years, Congress has been working to provide a roadmap. Yeah. Now's the time to deliver. The Clarity Act is essential to restoring confidence, encouraging innovation, and keeping businesses in the U.S. The Clarity Act will protect consumers by strengthening transparency and accountability for market participants. Developers will be required to provide accurate, relevant disclosures, including information relating to digital asset projects, operation, ownership, and structure. What's up, D Cartel? Good to see you as always. Customer-facing digital asset firms like brokers and dealers will be required to provide appropriate disclosures to customers, segregate customer funds from their own, and address conflicts of interest through registration, disclosure, and operational requirements. The Clarity Act will also strengthen the market by fostering the development of digital asset projects. Digital asset developers will have a clear pathway to raise funds under the SEC's jurisdiction. Market participants will have a trusted pathway to trade digital commodities through intermediaries and exchanges overseen by the CFTC. But they can't oversee a DeFi exchange, can they? A DEX. The Clarity Act will provide clarity to consumer-facing digital asset firms, establishes clear lines between the two market regulators, the SEC and the CFTC, creates a comprehensive registration regime to permit digital asset firms to lawfully serve customers in digital asset markets. This is everything we need right here, guys. The Clarity Act. If you ask me, they need to combine the Genius Act and the Clarity Act and the Big Beautiful Bill Act. Put them all together. What's up? Thanks, Gary. Good to have you on the Friday stream. Hope you guys are pumped. Are any of you guys out in Vegas already? I think I was watching, the Staple Crew. I was watching him earlier. He's out there. He's live out there. Okay, cool. I got something on Russia here, guys. Russia made an announcement this week. Bank of Russia says qualified investors can now access crypto derivatives. And that was just yesterday. Bank of Russia said that the qualified investors can have access to crypto derivatives so long as they are non-deliverable. So qualified Russians can invest cash. They still have rubles over there, I guess? Yeah. Qualified Russians can invest rubles into crypto derivative projects or products. And when they sell, they get back rubles. They never get cryptos. So sounds to me like you've got Russian companies that are tokenizing. I call it tokenizing, but they're creating derivatives out of our coins, out of these native coins. But they're not letting them touch the actual coins themselves. They must be non-deliverable, meaning investors cannot actually own the underlying cryptos. Wow. It's wild how these different countries are treating this stuff differently. But now they can get in. At least they can get into it now. At least qualified, I guess. You got to be qualified. I'm not sure what the threshold is for that over there, but at least they can get into some of this stuff, even though it's not deliverable, asset native deliverable. Okay, cool. What else do we have, guys? We got that, went over that. Let's get back to the Conectr coins. What's not doing good? What's in the deep red if you're looking to buy today? Not financial advice. I still like Aphrium on that Stellar chain, guys. Aphrium has, I don't know, probably 500 or so different tokens underneath this single Aphrium coin project. I was saying earlier, guys, I got into, one of the coins was a UAE stable coin. And I'm not sure if I bought it before like the price was set or whatever, but that UAE stablecoin, I think I put in 11 lumens years ago. And I've already taken out probably 1,700 lumens off of that one trade. So I'm not sure if I got in before some kind of a reset on that stablecoin. But that goes to show you there that there's, these stable coins, they have to keep that float. So I don't know if I got in before the float was pegged or how that works. Yeah, it was like 11 lumens into like 1,700 lumens just from that one trade into a stable coin. Crazy. Yeah, but it's way down, way in the red there. Let's look at a long-term chart on Aphrium. Yeah, it just dipped down. Look at this 30-day. It's crashed. I'm not sure. There might be some news out that we don't know about. We're going to check out the all-time chart. Look how volatile that is. Wow. But it just crashed. Let's see what their, if anything's going on their X site. They do have a Telegram. Afrium is a financially inclusive, decentralized, token-based global economy on Stellar blockchain. That's one thing I never got into, Telegram. I know there's all these projects are communicating on Telegram, but I never even got into that. Not seeing any FUD or anything, but you know, this is their website, so cool. Let's keep moving, guys. Let's check out the American cryptos. What's doing good in America in the past 24 hours? Origin protocol. That's the only one in the green. Only 4%. What's scammy? Afrium? Maybe, I don't know. I've heard good things about it. It's done me pretty well already. Who knows though? Who knows with some of this stuff, guys? I mean, you've got some of these projects. You've got so many projects to keep up with. That's what we're doing though. What's a origin protocol? Isn't this kind of like VeChain? Except this is an American crypto. We've got 47 million market cap with a max supply of 1.4 billion. Origin protocol. Oh, Telegram scammy? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that I see the value because of how you can like gatekeep. Projects can gatekeep and lock out certain people or whatever, has moderators or whatever, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure not everything's a scam over there, but yeah, it seems seems like every scam wants you to go to Telegram, that's for sure. What is Origin Protocol? Let's just check it out right quick and we'll move on. One of Ethereum's longest standing DeFi projects, featuring a multi-chain feature set that unlocks vast opportunities for yield generation. That sounds like every other coin though. Kind of looking for things that stand out on some of these coins, you know, something new, something different. What's going on with the top cryptos in the space? The top gainers in the past 24 hours. DEXE ranked 63. It's only up 2%. So I wouldn't count that as much. Even though we are in the red today with a lot of these coins. Look at WorldCoin at $1.18. Gala's 1 cent still. I need to change my Ocean protocol into this Artificial Superintelligence Alliance coin, ASI coin. I still need to convert some of that. Yeah, the new tariff FUD is in the news right now. Yeah, I've seen it's been going back and forth with the judge. One judge stopping it and one judge allowing it. It's like Trump is fighting for our country and against the people in the lawfare in the country at the same time. It's wild. All right, cool. Let's look at the categories in crypto. What's popping off the most? Looks like Solana the whole ecosystem's up 13%. And the virtuals, Freya by virtuals, is up the most. I'm not even in Solana anymore. I'm probably missing out on a lot. But I don't don't even know. Do they have like a native wallet? I know it has like a extension wallet. I had the Phantom wallet. It's an extension, browser extension, but I'm not really keen on using browsers extensions. Big AI or big data and AI coins are up 35%, 37%. And that's that same FRIA that's pumping that one. DPIN's up 93% with the Pocket Network. POKT. What's POKT leading the way with DPIN? Pocket Network at 5 cents. $89 million market cap with a circulating total supply actually of 1.6 billion. That's not bad. 1.6 billion with a $89 million market cap. A DPIN project called Pocket Network. Let's see. It's what is Pocket Network? It doesn't have a good summary. Let's just check out their website right quick. Oh, that's bright. Sorry about that, guys. I look for a new era. Pocket Network. Looks like they just rebranded. It's a technical protocol for builders and developers, ultimately with token POKT. I'm not seeing anything that stands out with this, guys. Let's keep moving on to these categories. I'm just checking out different categories. Distributed computing. Well, isn't all of this considered distributed computing? But Pocket Network's leading the way there again. Generative AI, Imagine AI is leading that category. Base ecosystem's up a little bit with the Ethereum Trust Fund up 5,000%. Wow, the ticker for that is ETF. Interesting. Oh, there's an old favorite of mine, LivePeer. On the Arbitrum ecosystem, pumping that up 28%. LivePeer, that's like a decentralized Zoom message conferencing. Reddit points. Did Reddit involve cryptocurrency? I think I did see something on that a while back. And this Fortnite Bricks is leading the way with that category. And Ethereum ecosystems, Mogcat's leading the way with Ethereum. I thought this was a good thing to look at every day, the categories, and just see, kind of gives us an idea which categories are doing the best. Okay, we've got the events calendar right quick. If I can get it to load. Today's Friday 30th. Let's just burn through this quick to see if there's any coins we're into. Arbitrum migration ends. Holders must bridge out all the Ethereum, Magic, SMOL, and NFT holdings by the end of May if you're in Arbitrum. Cool, that's about it there. Cool. Let's take a quick look at the Bitcoin. Hope you guys are doing great on this Friday. Thank you guys for leaving a like, man. That really helps out. Trying to grow the channel still. I didn't do as much this week as I wanted to, but we're back at it again now, Friday. Getting you guys pumped up for the weekend. Bitcoin's dominance is back at 61%. We need that to fall down. We need those alts to come up, guys. Let's take a quick look at commodities. Today, oats are up a little bit. Oil's up a little bit. Gold's at 3,292. Silver's at 32.90. That's about it for commodities. Nothing else popping off. Let's check out CryptoPanic.com. We'll get to our X bookmarks in just a minute. Okay, Evan's got some info. What's up, Evan? Good to see you. Phantom Wallet, Solar Flare Wallet, and Backpack Wallet, the best cold wallets in the world on Solana. Okay. I thought Phantom must have a extension as well, because I had the Phantom extension. But I just don't like those extensions. GameStop on Solana is the real deal, and Bonk. I've gotten thousands of dollars airdrops. Nice. Yeah, I think that the fact that Solana it went down, like 3 or 4 times, just kind of turned me off of it. But I missed so many airdrops and meme runs on Solana. They also have extensions. Got you. Stripe co-founder says that the banks are very interested in stablecoin integrations. They're going to have to be. They want to stay relevant. They need to learn how to tokenize these deposits into stablecoins. OpenSea adds rewards questing with voyages in OS2 public launch. Leader of the UK Reform Party vows crypto revolution in the UK. SUI approves returns of 162 million in frozen exploit funds. Yeah, that was wild last week. Had that SUI hack that happened. A smart contract got attacked. And I had a bookmark. Maybe I can find it. Who knows? But it was actually someone that was... Look what Binance posted. Crypto's still here. This from CZ. Yeah, I remember Greg Kidd was into Solana a while back. That's why I got into it. I made good profits off of Solana from the Hard Yaka portfolio. Yeah. Evan says FUD people out is why they stopped the chain. In my opinion, Greg Kidd. Yep. Soul Kid is XRP. Yep. Yeah, it's weird they can just call and agree to stop the chain. So what kind of decentralization is that? When they can agree to stop the chain? Well, we've been talking about how decentralization is a myth. What's up, Lizard King? Doing good today. How about you? Yeah, the SEC dropped the Binance case. That's good to see. And CZ says, crypto's still here. Posted Gary Gensler with the clown nose. All right, cool. What else do we have? Oh, I was wanting to show you ahead. Something on that SUI. That SUI hack, but I can't find it. It's hidden down in my bookmarks. But it was someone that was actually saying that it was sufficiently decentralized because they got together and stopped the chain. So I didn't really understand that. But Lizards in the rain today in Houston. Okay. Yeah, Greg Kidd's in the know. Yep. Sunny in Anaheim. Nice. What else do we have today? OpenSea adds rewards. We saw that. SUI approves return. We saw that. Canary State, they filed a Crow ETF. S1 filing with the SEC. Crypto.com ETF filed. JD.com stablecoin hits phase 2 Hong Kong sandbox. JD.com stablecoin. Okay. Wow. Everybody's got a stablecoin now. I don't know who this one is. JD.com. Never heard of JD.com. But it's moving forward with its rollout of blockchain-based stablecoin, which is currently undergoing a second phase of sandbox testing in Hong Kong. Question, how are we going to beat the fees after Moon? Yeah. Well, I think we'll be able to figure that out. I'm kind of keeping options open, you know, because we don't know what kind of environment it's going to be in for like cashing out or actually using it, holding it, and making money with our coins, you know. We've got the super collateral coin, so, and we've seen where these companies are using it in their internal treasuries. Several companies this week that said they're going to use it for their treasury, treasury something. Strategy, I guess. Evan says White Rock is doing things no one can verify or explain. They have a live show at 2 p.m. today. Oh, okay. Wow. We can check that out if you want. Yeah, White Rock is registered. I looked them up. Yeah, that was FUD for the Saudi Arabian announcement. It looks like that was fake, I mean. But I did look up White Rock. They're out of South Africa. And I guess they pumped on that FUD. Yeah, it's back down already. There's the 7-day on White Rock. Yeah, a lot of volatility right now. I guess it's real, it's fake. It's real, no, it's fake. No, it's real. No, it's fake. I guess that's what that volume's for. But I guess we can check out their if they're going live to talk in just a minute. Let's look at their X page and see if it's going to be on there. On-chain brokerage for tokenized equities and bonds. Yeah, because they didn't announce anything. 50 million 1 week. White Network has raised the biggest token sale since 2022. 50 million in 1 week. Lizard paid XRP account back what I borrowed to get. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's always good when you can get in to a project and then withdraw what you put in out and you still got some left over. That's always a very good trade. I'm just following along watching. The stream everyone in the White Rock community has been waiting for. Looks like this is it. I guess that's East Coast. I guess the times are right. Yeah, 2 p.m. EST. Yeah, that's in 2 minutes. I'll leave that tab open and we'll check it out in just a minute. See if there's any. It cost me $100 in and out. Yeah. Nice. That's how we do it. Trump won't reimpose 145% tariffs on China yet. Yeah, they're back and forth with the tariff talk. Crypto regulation chaos, Trump dinner, $2.5 billion Bitcoin play. The SEC drops Binance suit. We saw that. Wall Street 2.0, what stablecoins did for the dollar, Ondo is doing for capital markets. Don't forget about Ondo. OUSG isn't a white paper, it's a pipeline. It wraps short-term U.S. treasuries into a tokenized instrument that behaves like software. Internet native yield, real-time liquidity, fully composable. OUUSD. Over 200 million in treasuries tokenized via the OUUSG. Ondo Finance discusses tokenized U.S. treasuries. Representatives from the RWA platform, Ondo Finance, met the SEC's crypto task force to discuss issuing tokenized U.S. treasuries in a compliant way. Cool. What else do we have here today? Bitcoin-backed stablecoins just got real, but tax rules still point some to custodians. So is this what the Bitcoin maxis are supporting the Genius Act for? Because they want Bitcoin-backed stablecoins? But I thought we couldn't back stablecoins with crypto. I thought that was one of the big no-nos. So how else could crypto be involved? Bitcoin-backed stablecoins just got real, but tax rules still point to some custodians. Users can mint a dollar-denominated stablecoin and retain upside to Bitcoin and use the borrowed funds elsewhere. What? Evan says the Uphold card is officially coming back to U.S. Oh, finally. Good. I was a beta tester for that. They sent me $50 in free XRP just to spend it. That was pretty cool. The long-awaited relaunch of Liquidity 2 version 2 this month after an unfortunate bug hit the first deployment marked a major step towards decentralized, censorship-resistant borrowing. However, it's limited to ETH collateral. To expand the collateral options, friendly forks are encouraged. Wow. I haven't even heard about forks in a while. Friendly forks are encouraged to expand collateral options on Ethereum. Imagine that. Friendly fork. So just money out of nothing. That's all fork is. It just doubles the supply into something else. It's wild. Two promising new Bitcoin-backed stablecoins are launching with Liquidity's tech. Alpine Labs Bitcoin Dollar BTD and Asymmetry's USDAF. So this might not be American. This might be a global thing. Interesting. Bitcoin-backed stablecoins. Yeah, sounds scammy to me too. But we want to know about it. Bitcoin around Liquidity's battle-tested governance-free model version 2 brings improved capital efficiency and user-set interest rates. User-set interest rates. In addition to new collateral types, importantly, it extends the Origin's original protocol strict censorship minimization ethos to new blockchains, including Ethereum, Bitcoin Layer 2s, through license agreements. Bitcoin lending has historically been dominated by custodial platforms like BlockFi, Celsius. We are in Linden, where users can surrender their Bitcoin in exchange for dollar liquidity, often at the cost of transparency, flexibility, and sometimes, solvency. The latest option presented in Las Vegas Bitcoin 2025 is from Bitcoin payments company called Strike, which offers Bitcoin-backed loans at interest rates between 9 and 13%. Typical for custodial lenders. Still seems high to me. 9 to 13%. Liquidity is the name of the company, I guess. Interesting. Yeah, it totally seems scammy. I don't know. Bitcoin-backed stablecoins. That just doesn't... I mean, the only thing I could say is that Bitcoin has a good floor price, you know? And I've always said that we should be able to back our stablecoins with crypto whenever it finds a good floor price. And we've got utility in the game, you know. All right, cool. Let's get to our bookmarks today. Hope you guys are doing good out there on this Friday afternoon. Appreciate you guys joining the Conectr stream. 17 from YouTube, 14 over on X, or the other way around, 14 on YouTube, 17 on X. Thank you guys for joining. Give me a like, subscribe if you're new. Appreciate you. G Money Bro, always love hearing the music. The raw background sounds good. I appreciate that. Always enjoy hearing that raw background music. Sound cool, yeah. Yeah, nothing like raw music sound instead of overprocessed, overproduced. Check it out from Jeffrey Paramo. This is brother and sister Donald Trump Jr.'s post here. May 31st. Get ready. Here we go. What does that mean? There's a crack in the dam at the top. There's 2 cracks in the dam, and you've got the Rainbow Lake. Looks like it's about to be emptied out onto the town. And then his sister Ivanka, by June, you will be living in a completely different environment. Upgrades are coming. I like the way that sounds. Fishing with Joe, with Camo Joe. What's up, guys? Hope you guys are doing good. Good to see you in the chat. Fishing with Camo Joe. Nice. By June, you'll be living in a completely different environment. What's coming, guys? What is coming? All right, we got, hold on, a little clip from Vegas. Vets posting. Looks like we've got, is that Zach Rector there? See if we can see anybody else we know. I'm sure there's a few in there. XRP Las Vegas. A little short clip there. Let's see if anybody posted anything else from Las Vegas. Wish I was there. The adults conference. No circus, no clowns, no people dressed up as cows. Yeah, what were those idiots doing dressed up as cows? What was that about? What are they doing? They had to be getting paid to do that, right? That reminds me of the back in the COVID stuff was going on, all the nurses dancing around, all happy and all with all this crap going on around us. OTS PE class for cows. The GBLT takeover, June. June, that'll work. That's only a couple days away. We've got Ripple Pumpkin posting, boom, massive news drop. Ripple is officially listed on the Bank of America on its website. And guess what? Bank of America holds a patent to use XRP as a bridge asset. This ain't just speculation anymore. It's not chess. It's chess, not checkers. It's end game is loading. God, we can't wait to see some news out of Bank of America. We've known this for years, especially since the Alex Cobb got that letter from requesting he take down the news about Bank of America. That was a long time ago. And we know that Bank of America was running all of its internal transactions using the XRP ledger. Before the lawsuit, they were using it. And what does that mean, they were using it? They actually went to, I'm assuming they just went to GitHub and downloaded a version of the XRP ledger, their own version. That's all it is, guys. We've got many XRP ledgers running with their own set of nodes. So Bank of America running its own set of nodes on its own XRP ledger. And that's what we call a side chain. It's a copy of the XRP ledger. Imagine there are hundreds and hundreds of different XRP ledgers out there with their own sets of nodes, all being able to use the original native XRP asset when the sidechain amendment goes into place. I think that's what they're waiting on. Guess what? We've got a Sam Bankman fraud movie coming out. Netflix has announced that Julia Gardner and Anthony Boyle will portray Caroline Ellison and Sam Bankman-Fried in their upcoming series about FTX. Yeah, I like her. She's on Ozark. I'm not sure who he is. First time I've ever seen him. She's really good on Ozark. If you guys haven't seen that, I think it's on Netflix. Jonah evolved past the role. Wow, is that Jonah Hill? Is he on Ozempic too? Guys, be careful out there with that Ozempic, that weight loss stuff. I've heard some bad stuff on there about that drug. Yeah, you should have got... Oh, there's Jonah Hill there. Yeah, he would have made a perfect Sam Bankman fraud. Except, I guess he's... That's him there. I guess he's lost some weight now. He got some tattoos there too. Total fumble. That's hilarious. God, is that Jonah Hill? I can't believe he's that skinny now. The Caroline upgrade is absurd. Wow. Just getting rid of some bookmarks I've already used. Some of them won't delete though. Netsbuck says Saudi Prince funds XRP Treasury Company. Hidden road announcement on crypto over the counter. Hyperscale Data plans $10 million XRP buy. Chinese company financing a $300 million XRP strategic reserves in the past 24 hours. All kinds of news came in yesterday. Fruition Productions looks like a new documentary showcasing the untold history and the end of the Federal Reserve. we will be introducing a bill to abolish the Fed and reattach the U.S. dollar to real assets using the USA blockchain, the XRP ledger. That sounds good. Let's go. Fruition Films doing some good work over there, as always. So we had something happen with Chainlink, the CCIP, I think it's called, the cross-chain interconnectivity protocol. Not exactly sure. Let's read through it together, see what happened. But Omar Goldberg, and this is the caveat is he has a competing project called Chaos Labs. So take it with a grain of salt. But I just want to show you this today. Today should be a wake-up call for anyone in DeFi. I don't care how big you are. You claim to secure trillions and simultaneously blame markets when users get hurt. More importantly, the Chainlink God claims don't add up. First, why was there a 25-minute delay in a price update? So there was a trade that happened. Something about a stablecoin got depegged, and it took 25 million or 25-minute delay to update the price. The Chainlink Oracle updated at 1:52 EST. Coincidentally, the price update correlates exactly to CoinGecko's price reports. Could it be that the VRAP methodology is actually just spitting out CoinGecko API prices? Is CCIP using CoinGecko API? I mean, isn't that how it? That is a centralized. We've seen Hugo Filion complain about this, about how you have all these centralized data providers, Oracle providers. So that's what he's working on, is decentralizing that. But just ignoring the unexplained 25-minute delay, the price spike showed that this isn't right methodology for pricing assets with on-chain liquidity. I'd expect Chainlink to use a proper methodology for pricing stablecoins, either capping the price like we do in Aave, or using an algorithm that's more resilient to outliers. So I bet somebody, I don't know exactly what happened, but I bet somebody got liquidated because of a stablecoin price fluctuation. Let me see if I can figure out what happened right quick. I think this is the second post on that. Omar says you shouldn't be using the same Oracle for a low latency, high leverage application as you would for a long-tailed lending market or an illiquid asset. In summary, different markets demand different oracles. Yeah, I totally get what Hugo Filion's doing with Flare. Yeah, he's been complaining about these centralized oracles, you know, being responsible for billions of dollars in DeFi, locked up in DeFi. So they're still figuring out all this stuff, guys. It's still a wild, wild west out there. Don't get comfortable, you know. So 500,000 gone in 180 seconds, he says. Chainlink just proved oracles are one of the weakest links in DeFi. Here's what happened yesterday. Chainlink's DEUSD price feed spiked to $1 and almost 3 cents. Just enough to tip the Avalanche Euler market over the edge. Within minutes, $500,000 plus of leveraged positions were wiped out. Bradley says, Flare's my number 3. Love that project. Yeah. They seem like a really good decentralized DeFi project. Trying to decentralize those price oracles. That means a lot, actually. And we're seeing it right here. The prices have to be perfect, guys. DEUSD is Elixir's RWA-backed stablecoin with 185 million total supply and 72 million live on Avalanche. It's a popular collateral asset due to its high yield profile. Users were looping it 10 times for theoretical returns north of 100%. Wow, well, there you go. When you get involved in leverage, guys, you may know what you're doing all day long. But if you get a price feed that's incorrect or takes a while to update, you might get liquidated. And liquidated isn't awful, guys. I mean, it is bad if you get liquidated. I've been liquidated once on, I think I had a margin call one day a while back using, was it BitTrue? No, I think I had some VeChain I was trying to swing around. And, yeah, I got a margin email and I think they called me, but it was in the middle of the night. I slept through it and I got liquidated. So if you can't respond quickly enough, you'll get liquidated. So what does that mean? Just if you don't know, you lose your underlying collateral. It's gone. Right? Now, you do get to keep your loan that you took out using that collateral, but it's never as much as the original collateral, unless it happens to pop off, and you get lucky. But that was pretty wild. So this blockchain link, Oracle pushed the stablecoin to $1.03, and the liquidation happened 3 blocks later. After that was the first liquidation. And then 1 block after that, $532,000 worth of leverage positions were wiped out. Why? 30 minutes earlier, a large curve swap by Jared from Subway, whoever that is. Oh, I mean, probably not the original guy. On Ethereum, $210,000 in USDT. There was a swap, 210,000 Tether for 202,000 DEUSD. So that's what moved it just enough. Someone was willing to take an $8,000 hit to get into DEUSD versus USDT. Wow. Swapping out a stablecoin and taking an $8,000 hit. And they might not even have known that happened, that was going to happen. You might have somebody in there that's not looking at both sides of the trade that just hits a market swap. It looks like Chainlink's Oracle picked it up and pushed that price cross-chain, including Avalanche. Wow. So a lot of this cross-chain stuff, guys, sounds rigged. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah. Scary out there. There's so many ways they can rig things. Like, just say that this guy did this on purpose, swapping 210,000 USD Tether for 202,000 DEUSD. Let's say he did it on purpose. Why would you do that on purpose? Well, if you know that it's going to depeg the stable coin and you've got another leverage position, you're willing to take that loss. So you can win on that other leverage position. Maybe he was going short on or going long or whatever, and it happened and it liquidated all these other people. Maybe he did a good trade, whoever did this stablecoin swap. And you can see here how it's affecting the cross-chain stuff. It looks like Chainlink's Oracle picked it up and pushed that price cross-chain, including Avalanche. Following the Chainlink Oracle, what he's calling a malfunction, RE7 and K3 updated the Oracle configuration and hard-coded the value to 1 instead of the $1.03 that it was. Replacing Chainlink to a fixed rate mitigates the current exposure. But nothing's fixed though, guys. Nothing's stable. It has to be held stable by market makers, right? But they held it at a fixed rate. They changed it to a fixed rate to 1, just like a centralized fixed rate. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't reflect actual value. That's insane. Most people think the problem of oracles is solved. It's not. Not when markets are fragmented. Leverage is dynamic and liquidity moves in real time. That's what's scary. They're used to in the legacy system. They'd have days to figure out a fix. But this stuff's moving in real time now. We can have real run on banks. But that's why it needs to be tokenized deposits, so that there's value matching the stable coins. They're going to get it all figured out. But yeah, it's a scary word out there with cross-chain oracles, price feeds. The future of tokenized assets, RWAs, and AI agents hinges on feeds that understand the full context. Fragmented liquidity, synthetic yield products, dynamic leverage loops, multi-chain risk surface, and more. And see, here's the caveat. It's his own project, Chaos Labs. At Chaos Labs, we believe we're still in version 0 when it comes to oracles. Well, at least that's good. The next version isn't just more data, it's intelligent feeds. If your oracle doesn't see the whole picture, it's not a source of truth, it's a threat. Okay, so we went through all that, and we got a little bit out of it, seeing how the prices can stretch to other chains with this cross-chain oracle. So let's look at some of the counterpoint views on this. Zach's chiming in. Says this is an unfair analysis. I know you have a competing product to shield, but this post is engagement bait for the uninformed. What we saw is that there's a series of trades on the DEUSD curve liquidity pool, representing 50% of the daily volume, temporarily pushed the price of the DUSD above $1. Yeah. Given Chainlink's feed for the DEUSD report, the market-wide volume weighted price average, the VWAP. So it looks like Chainlink's using a volume-weighted price average. VWAP, the feed's pricing reflects these trades. Price average, when it really needs to be the exact price, right? If we're in real time, why can't we have the exact real-time price instead of a volume-weighted price average? The feed was clearly marked as high-risk market due to the reflected underlying market risks that make the market maker price of low liquidity volume assets subject to greater uncertainty or volatility. Well, that's all strategy. You can get in a low volatility coin and make some money. That's where a lot of the money's made. Getting in early, right? But he's saying the protocols need to take precaution when building markets involving these low liquidity assets. Chainlink just proved oracles are one of the weakest links in DeFi. He's got this is what the other guy said. This is an insane take on Chainlink, given Chainlink's operational record of not only securing tens of billions in DeFi for hundreds of protocols, but enabling the creation of DeFi sector as we know it today. And then Omar comes back with the point of the oracle is to secure value and protect users. If the oracle is dumb and it just spits out pool prices, why even use Chainlink at all? Lastly, making the oracle as high risk on your website doesn't actually protect users. It's just an empty attempt to save the face. And Zach replies with, the point of data oracles is to deliver the data users want in the way they want on chain to meet their specific risk profile and use case requirements. When someone wants data on a low liquidity, low volume asset, there is no silver bullet pricing methodology where I mean, that's a good question. If you're in a low liquidity margin trade, I mean, what are you doing there to start with, really? But you're depending on the pegged or the paired stablecoin that you're in that trade with. You're depending on its price to stay stable. And I've been saying nothing's stable. So, I mean, you're kind of, in my opinion, you're kind of asking for that there. If you're in low liquidity assets and leveraged, and you can't respond to a margin call, yeah, you're going to get liquidated. I know you guys haven't been doing oracles that long, but this stuff is Oracle 101 stuff. Oh, clearly making something as a high market risk feed is clear indication to users that the feed has risks. Yeah, but a lot of times people just look right past that. I don't know. It's kind of like two different articles kind of make sense to me. One guy wants to put a warning on it, on low liquidity leveraged positions, which I guess should have a warning on it for sure. But that goes to show you how good Flare might be, guys, with these decentralized pricing data oracles. That way there's no one to blame. And you've got different price oracles that are competing. There's like a middle line there. You've got, say you've got 100 different price oracles that are trying to get rewards by submitting their price feeds to Flare. That's how they get some of the tokens from Flare. They get rewarded for doing that. So they're competing. So if your price falls out of the mid range, you won't get that reward if it's too low or if it's too high. So that's pretty good. Flare, I'm starting to like Flare. I mean, I have liked Flare. I'm beginning the airdrop and all, but you know, I've always considered it as just another DeFi project, you know, that could finally use coins like XRP. But I'm a holder. I'm a long-term holder of Flare. Still liking it. Fishing with Joe's on the ladder, listening, not looking at the chat. What's up, Fishing with Joe? I think you missed a spot. Make sure you paint that one spot there. Oh my God, I hate painting. I don't have the patience. I try to get way too much paint on the brush or the roller. I try to get done with it too quick instead of just taking my time with it. Sean S. says Hedera is about to launch a mini PC powered by an HBAR version of Linux code named Ivy Stone. Not stoned. Ivy Stone. The device is going to behave as a node on the Hedera network whilst also serving as a quantum-resistant machine for decentralized physical infrastructure and IoT devices. The source claims that the U.S. government and various large organizations are testing Linux Ivy Stone on the Hedera PC already. Hedera is launching a mini PC powered by the HBAR version of the Linux code. Interesting. Yeah, make sure you got that ladder tied off. I worked with a guy one time doing electrical work back in the day, and he was a little overweight, you're right? But it was on top of a schoolhouse. The second floor, we had to get up to the second floor roof. And just a quick side story here. Just having kind of a relaxed stream today, guys. It was a second story roof. We couldn't use the roof hatch because the contractors were busy using that. So we said, we'll just put a ladder up. We had a big, nice ladder, right? Could go up to 2 stories. And my partner, he's a little overweight. He started climbing up that ladder. About the time he made it halfway, the ladder had dipped into itself. And and he was stuck. He couldn't move up and he couldn't move down. And his legs started shaking. And I was holding the ladder. So all I could do was look up and see that ladder was swooped into the building. If he was going to go up the rest of the way, it would have been a straight climb. Yeah. 4-to-1 pitch. So yeah, it's supposed to go up 4-to-1. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this was 4-to-0. Thought that was funny. Could the HBAR powered PC powered by Linux Ivystone look like this? The device could possibly also enable autonomous vehicles and robots. Currently, a quantum computing attack could turn millions of EVs into weapons. Oh, yeah. Hedera fixes that would secure decentralized physical infrastructure. Interesting. A Hedera mini PC behaving as a node on the Hedera network. But I thought the Hedera nodes were huge because from what I remember, all the maybe that's just like a history node versus consensus node or whatever. Because you got the big names running these Hedera nodes like IBM and Google and all these huge names. And, you don't have smaller people running Hedera nodes. They did even do away with their community node, which is supposed to be retail's chance at, running a Hedera node. Cool. We got an alert from Ripple Exity, decentralized news platform on the Ripple blockchain. Alert, don't fall for fake reports claiming the Saudi Aramco is tokenizing oil. Let's check it on our White Rock stream. Did they ever stream? Yeah, we had a fake document come out. And a lot of volatility on that White Rock because of that fake document. There's that volatility chart. Past 24 hours. Look how volatile that is. Dipping from 0008 to 004. And they're supposed to have a update today. White Rock's out of South Africa. And looks like we've got it. Would you just look at it? I don't know what you're talking about, Lizard. Maybe we'll check out, just see who's behind this project, White Rock. I don't know anything about it really. I know CKJ was pushing this a while back. He comes up with some winners.
Hello everyone. How's everyone doing?
Not sure who this is, but we'll check it out right quick.
As always, we'll wait a couple seconds for everyone to join.
They just had a White Rock update.
And then we'll get started.
Let me just kind of fast forward a little bit.
I see the chat asking, the Fair token launch could close at any moment. We can't tell you when it will happen. Some people are complaining about the price of white. Yeah, honestly, they can go fuck off. JP Morgan's right, can't hold through this. Unreal.
Do you hear that?
Then you'll be able to jump. Look, to us, it's not white network referral codes. And we've made it incredibly attractive for our community. Multiple firms.
I'm just kind of jumping around.
Economics a little bit later on.
It doesn't sound very professional. This dude better pump my bags. Yeah, he doesn't sound very professional at all. So we're going to kind of turn on from that. you got to kind of sound professional. We're in finances, guys. Believe it or not, we've ended up in finances. And that's what cryptocurrency is, basically. So we like to see a little professionalism in the space. Oh, yeah, we had Elon Musk in the president's office today, just a few minutes ago. I guess he's leaving Doge.
Mr. Musk, what do you think would be easier, colonizing Mars or making the government efficient?
It's a tough call, but I think colonizing Mars and making life multi-planetary is harder. And as I said, we do expect to achieve over time the $1 trillion of savings. We can't do it in like a few months, but if you say by the official end of Doge, which the president may choose to extend, is the middle of next year. Say by the middle of next year, with the support of the president and Congress, could we achieve $1 trillion of savings? I think so. We're on track to do so.
We'll see. That you got to have Congress helping them out. Congress makes the laws. They don't want to cut. So what was all this for? Congress isn't going to cut anything with this big, beautiful bill. They're going to keep they're going to go against all the Doge cuts. What was it all for? Yeah, but dealing with people on the internet will get you unprofessional quick. Yeah, I guess it will. So true. So true. You know, it says a lot about you, how you respond to a situation, though. Turple's a homesteader and a financial advisor. Nice. All right, we covered this earlier about the Ripple header on their X account. That's pretty crazy. They got a Wall Street header, a Wall Street bull. What time's the clock showing there? Is that 3:29? Not sure what that means. You got an EU receipt, $1,984 or Euro dollars on the EU receipt. It's like you've got some coins there, silver and a gold coin. You got the clouds. Justin Bond says Bitcoin is a fraud. Mass self-custody is impossible. And so is using Bitcoin as money. Capacity is so low. Capacity is so low that it could take months only for current holders to move their coins once, making mass adoption only possible through custodians and banks, betraying the original cyberpunk dream. Yeah, imagine if we all just decided to move a little bit of Bitcoin today. What that would do to the network. Turple's joking about the financial advisor. Yeah, I figured you were, but you know, you could be in the future. Who knows how this stuff's going to go? When it turns out you're right, you might be in more demand than you think. Watcher Guru says Trump media officially signs a $2.3 billion deal to buy Bitcoin and hold it as a treasury asset for Trump media. There you go. There's another company getting their treasury assets in order. And he's using Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks like it's here to stay, guys. It's going to serve its purpose as a store of value. It's worldwide accepted. I hope you guys that are holding it, I hope you guys make good money, but I don't think I'll ever get into it again, you know? I've used it, and I don't like using it, so why would I get into it? That's just me, though, guys. That's just me. Elasto says Bitcoin's no longer a hedge. It's the foundation. Bitcoin as a treasury asset held by institutions proves that the world is shifting. It's doing what we have always known it to do. We've been building a decentralized future on Bitcoin security for years. We're building tools for lending, identity, and creativity on Bitcoin's base layer. Elastos. Yeah, we had Elastos running good the other day. ELA. It's been around forever, guys. It's one of the OG coins. Only a $23 million market cap with a $15 million total supply. 15 million total supply. That's all. 15 million. And it's $1.50. Actually pulled back a little bit today. There's a 90-day chart on Elastos. Good little run up. A lot of volume back on the 23rd of last month. What's up, Marcus? Caught me on your lunch break. All right. What's the hot buy today? I don't know. Let's check out the Conectr coins again. I am in a trade right now. You know, I saw, of course, we had Bank Social do really good a couple weeks ago. And guys, you know, each one of you guys are on a different path. You know, you can do what you do. You take out profits as you feel. I did get a little bit off the top of BSL. You know, you got to lick a little bit of ice cream when it pumps like that, guys, so you can move things around. Just like Lizard saying. Like he did with that, what was it, the Zebek pump? He got his XRP back that he put in, and he has Zebek left over. That's what it's all about right there. So we did good with ELA. And we also did good with... what was that other one on the Hedera network? I can't think right now. I know we did good with Loan. What was that other one on Hedera? I keep forgetting that one. Here's a list of Hedera coins again. We did this the other day, but Dovu, that's it. That's the energy credits. But my, you know, that popped off. BSL popped off and Dovu popped off on the Hedera chain. But the one I'm in now that I told you guys about it the other day is HBAR Sweet. If I could get to it. I don't think it's on there. Show you this right quick, then we'll move on. Yeah, here it is. HBAR Suite. 0003. Look, it's down 17% today. Probably not a bad time to get in. Not financial advice. This one's ranked way down there, though. You know, that's what you look for on some of this stuff. Low liquidity coins. $16 million market cap. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, H Suite. Yep. I'm trying to get my page to move, but it's not wanting to work. I got in this a while back, and it does pump. Yeah. It pumped last March, and then it pumped last December. So it does pump, and it is in the red again now. So that's one move I'm in right now, waiting on that pump. Down 57% on the year. Wow. That's a deep red for sure. Market still needs more HBAR and XLM before he goes on a wild path. Yeah. I feel like I've accumulated, these layer ones. That's the only reason I get out and get into some of these other coins sometimes. But cool. What else do we have today? Let's check out cryptopanic.com, see if there's any more news coming in as we're streaming. Bitcoin plunges under $104,000 as a U.S.-China trade tensions resurface. Not much coming out there. Let's check out and see if we have any more bookmarks. Appreciate you guys hanging out with the Conectr today. Speaking of deep reds, where's GDLT? Yeah, he's the GOAT, isn't he? He come out with those deep reds throughout the years, doing some big research on these projects. Now, I haven't seen him stream in a while. I hope he's doing good. I remember when I first found GDLT, he was using live coin watch just like I was using. I said, whoa, wait a minute. I thought I was the only one using live coin watch, but that was cool. And I'm still using it to this day. Not a sponsor. No sponsors on the channel, guys. I am close to getting monetized on YouTube. The first level of monetization, which is being able to get like the super chats and all. So I've been doing like 3 streams a week since February of last year. So you can see about how long it takes you to get monetized if any of you guys want to get into that. It takes a while. Unless, I'm just a regular streamer, unless you get some, a big push, Cool. What else do we have? Jungle Link posting. One of the originals here, Jungle Link. Ripple just gave Wall Street its XRP backdoor hidden road. Ripple's $1.25 billion acquisition has launched over-the-counter crypto swaps for institutions. Bam. That's what they want right there, guys. That is it. That means a lot. Quiet accumulation is now possible without moving the charts. Yeah, they want to buy on the back end, away from the public exchanges. They want to buy over the counter, they call it OTC. These swaps are cash settled. No coins move on chain, but our financial exposure is real. The kind institutions love. I don't know. No coins move on chain. They have to give them the coins somehow, though. He might have that wrong. I don't know. Maybe no coin swaps are visible on the exchanges, on the DEXs and the SEXs. Assets aren't named yet, but let's be honest, Ripple owns the broker, XRP Next. You aren't supposed to notice that. Hidden Road operates through a UK-regulated entity, dodging SEC bottlenecks while onboarding U.S. capital. Smooth, silent, surgical. This isn't just about swaps. Ripple is laying financial rails. MiCA licensed in Europe, FINRA licensed in the U.S., full stacks play. If XRP gets added, expect price movement after positions are already built behind the scenes. That's the over-the-counter. They get in behind the scenes, and it doesn't reflect the price, but they're accumulating. That's the power of infrastructure. It runs the retails. It front runs retail. Yeah. Don't forget that. But guys, what have we been doing for years? We've been front running institutions. They just now have a good broker to contact to buy these native assets. Lizard has all his XLM on iTrust Capital because he's planning on spending that. Oh, okay. Makes sense. Yeah, to each his own, You guys are going to probably do different things, decentralize your holdings, spread it out. That way you have less vectors of attack and more options on cashing out. Yeah. Ripple's Hidden Road just gave institutions the tool they need to back XRP. Hidden Road launches digital asset swaps prime brokerage in the United States. We saw this where Elon's going to be using Cross River Bank for X money. Cross River is going to hold the accounts. And we know Ripple's partnered with Cross River. Okay, Captain X is saying the Federal Reserve's implementation date is set for July the 14th, 2025. Lizard says, hell, I can't afford any more good news. Trump just gave Elon Musk the key at the White House. Here comes XRP payment system. Nice. So what's going to happen on July 14th? Well, on that Friday before, on July 11th, the current FedWire Fund Service wire format will end that Friday. And when the Federal Reserve opens Sunday, July 13th, the new ISO format supersedes. ISO 20022 is a global payment messaging standard that allows businesses, financial institutions, and all other parties involved in a financial transaction to exchange, to interpret, and automatically process payment information by providing a common global language for corporate accounting and banking systems. ISO standards resolves two key challenges in facilitating automated processing of electronic payment messages between two systems. First, it creates a common global vocabulary for sending electronic payment information. Second, it creates a consistent structure or format used to convey information, including an easy way to identify all information within a message. So they're going to cut it off on Friday and cut it on that Sunday to prep for that Monday. Yeah, this is actually, there's another date, June 27th. We will find out if this is a go or a no-go. So they still give you that date, that date beforehand, June 27th, where they can say, well, we're going to push it out again. Because they may delay it again, believe it or not. But if they decide on June 27th that they're going to go ahead and do it, it's locked in. It will happen. So we still don't know if it's going to happen July 14th, guys. But yes, deadline is November. This can't be postponed. If he's right. Yeah, once they get past the July 27th date, it cannot be postponed. And why DeFi believes that Ripple case will be fully closed and the Genius Bill will have become law by then. I can't see federal government going live with a crypto that currently has a court case open. Guys, it's coinciding, isn't it? The Ripple case and regulations going hand in hand. D Cartel says market dip. Well, let's see what we got going on in the market. Yeah, kind of everything's kind of dipping today. But I got my green face on today. Hoping for those green candles. Look at Evernote up 24%. So How's up just a little bit, but everything else is kind of in the red. Jeffrey made it. What's up, man? Yep, we were looking at Ripple's new banner. hidden road, backdoor to buy XRP over the counter for these institutions. That's what the institutions were waiting on, a big brokerage firm. Because they have to have a contract, guys. They have to have in their operating agreements for these big companies, you have to have a contract. G Money says if anyone has osmosis stakes on Exodus, they need to unstake and move your tokens in like a month or two. Okay. Appreciate that, G Money. On Exodus. That's the old cold wallet. Yeah, I would suggest using Kepler for osmosis. And that is an extension, guys. Kepler, they do have a wallet for your phone, a hot wallet for your phone, but they also have a desktop extension wallet. But I've got that on a laptop that I don't use anymore. You know, that's the only extension wallet I really deal with. So be careful out there for those extensions working with these browsers, integrated within the browser. Appreciate that, Evan. Yeah, guys, give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. It really helps the channel out. Hope you guys are getting something out of the channel. I love hanging out with you guys. G Money's letting us all know as he was staking also. Yep. Takes 21 days to unstake. Yep. Now, if you can get your keys, your private keys off of Exodus, you can import them into Kepler. And it will see your entire Cosmos ecosystem coins, your entire wallet. You know, it'll populate all of them. So we'll see what happens with the Federal Reserve's implementation date. Right now it's July 11th, but he is correct that June 27th is the final date to decide if July 11th or July 14th is the go date. Coinbase has 24/7 trading coming for XRP and Solana futures starting on June 13th, unlocking real-time access for U.S. traders, reflecting the always-on nature of crypto markets. Lots of good news coming out. Lots of things coming out. This week was a good week. And I expect June to be even better, guys. I know it feels like it every month when we get there, but hopefully this month is going to give us some great news. Hopefully we get some legislation. Hopefully we get some clarity, guys. That's all we want. Clear rules of the road, right? MrConectr's out of here, guys, for the weekend. Hope you guys have a good one. I'm going to jam you out on the way out. All right. Also, June 17th, Fed announcement on the rates. Yep. Got to watch Jerome Powell. Appreciate you guys for joining the Conectr stream. Hope you guys have a great weekend. If you're in Vegas, be safe. And we'll see you on the next one. MrConectr out. Thanks, guys.